What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we're going to be previewing Showdown 56. It's Showdown time once again. It's Port Adelaide's home game at the Adelaide Oval this Saturday night. It's going to be an absolute monster of a showdown with so much repercussions on the line for Port Adelaide. This is a high pressure situation. If you wanted to see what we are like in a finals-like atmosphere in front of 50,000 people, a sold-out crowd for Showdown 56, and you wanted to see what we're like in a finals-like pressure without being tested in finals or against a top 8 side, it's a damn showdown. And right now, we are under the pump to win one because they haven't won one for a couple of years, and it's damn scary to be entering this one, absolutely. I am a little bit nervous about this one, I'm not going to lie, but who isn't for a showdown? But it's going to be an absolute monster. We're wearing the prison bars once again. It's a home game. It's going to be massive. So let's preview Showdown 56. Port Adelaide are entering the showdown at 4 straight wins in a row. Richmond, Carlton, Sydney, and also the D's. The Crows just came off a fantastic win against the Western Bulldogs last Sunday. They're in some good form. They just lost to the Cats as well at GMHBA. And I think the week before that they got pumped by Hawthorn. But they found some good form over the last couple of weeks. They're definitely entering a little bit of a purple patch to finish their season. And obviously a team that's finishing in the bottom 4, you always want to end the year, with a bit of form and a bit of confidence going into it. The Crows will not have Tex Walker this week, which, in my opinion, is a real big positive. Even though Thilthorpe and Fogarty, they're in great nick at the moment, and they're probably going to bring in a Himmelberg or probably a Chris Burgess or someone that is capable to replace Tex Walker. Tex always kicks a couple and always takes on one of our best defenders. And now that we have no Tex, I think it's a bit of a sigh of relief for our defenders, no doubt about that. But they still are capable with the Crows of putting out a stellar performance. So it's going to be one to watch for them and their selections come this week. And obviously in a game where they're pumping up to be their grand final, because they've got nothing to look forward to in September, they're definitely going to be scary, and they're going to be ones to watch this week, no doubt about that. Obviously Fogarty coming out and saying it would be unbelievable, and the cherry on top to ruin our season, to ruin our year. If we lose this, then it's definitely a lot of repercussions on a top 4 finish or a top 2 finish in a home final, no doubt about it. But our season isn't really over compared to the likes of Freo, who definitely fighting for that final position in the top 8 spot. So definitely some big words coming out from big mouths across at West Lakes, but at the same time, obviously got to be wary about the talent that they possess. Isaac Rankin, Josh Rochelli's found a bit of touch as well. They've got some good key players in there that will take our game apart, and I think going into this one we have to be very wary about them. But at the same time, we've got to be wary about us. We're coming off a gutsy win. It was a terrible game, but a gutsy win against the D's. So we definitely have our work cut out this week. I think it's going to be a lot more free-flowing. Definitely going to suit our game a little bit more, be a little bit more open-ended. We certainly remember what happened in the showdown earlier in the year, where, what happened in the early in the year, we stuffed up, really. 5 goals, 18. It was a terrible performance on Thursday night footy, and something that we're definitely not capable of winning the big games in those moments. We haven't won a showdown since Robbie Gray retired as well, so hopefully that's not a curse. If not, I'm giving him a call. But at the same time, it's it's a big game, and I think with us coming in some good nick, I've never felt like last week I was a bit nervous and a bit edgy, but the games against Sydney, I was a bit, the last month I felt really comfortable in the way we've been playing. And even last week I was like, it was a crappy performance, shitty performance, but there was a lot more positive to it than, say, if we put out that performance in round 10 or 11. There's a lot more strength to it now to showcase how we can just find a way to win games. And I think with this showdown in particular, we have a good blend, a good mix. I think we're finally figuring out exactly what to do structure-wise and how to play. And, that's free-flowing footy. That's getting it on the move and making sure we're one out with our forwards, and making sure that, our players are covering the ground well and defensively working. And, players like Jason Horne-Francis last week figured that out well and truly. So I think, the capabilities of that are really strong. And the showdown nature of this one will suit, I think, Port a little bit more, just because we're here for bigger reasons other than just winning a showdown. We're here for so much more. I've seen it mean a lot to players this year, especially in the back half. That one game against Carlton in particular really stands out for me. So going into this one, whilst it's absolutely petrifying playing the Crows in a home game in the prison bars, which we lost last time too, by the way, it's definitely, yeah, a pretty scary time. But I'm hoping, regardless, that we get through it and get the job done. Obviously, selections this week, Port Adelaide are facing the one selection change at the minimum, with Todd Marshall seemingly coming out of the side with concussion, which opens the door for a couple of opportunities. Now, do you bring in Ollie Lord, who I think Lord, Asava and Dixon is just too much big bulk, non-moving footballers? Do you go small and replace him with a small and have Narkle play a full game, and then someone like Will Lorenz comes in as the sub? Or do you go a medium-sized Ryan Burton, who looked good in the Magpies outfit, didn't have an amazing game, but looked good up forward, and give him the opportunity back in Port Adelaide colours? It's interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting concept that you want to work with, because unless Georgiadis gets up and gets through his test this week, which in my opinion, you just don't risk a quad. It's just one of the worst injuries you can risk, because you can just tear it off the limb and he's done for the year. You don't want that. So you want him to be fit and firing for the back end of the year. You know, win next week against Freo and get into the finals, and you want your best players there. So I think having Georgiadis miss this week is a sacrifice we'll probably have to make, even if he is fit. You're not testing a quad on 90% in a showdown. Absolutely not. So what options do you have? You have those three, going small, going big and bulky, or you're going Ryan Burton. So, yeah, I think, my honest opinion, I'm going small. Like, I think we looked a little bit better than the dynamic of having, you know, small forwards around Dixon and Asava. You know, you got Horn Francis, who can play as a lead-up target. You can play, you know, your Narkles, your Riolis, and the likes, you know, around the football, and they look really, really, you know, they challenge, they put the pressure on. I think a pressure game will suit them. So that's my honest opinion. You know, I think having that option there is going to be really, really enticing. But either way, I'm just not going big and bulky. I don't like that, especially against the Crows. And, you know, they've got a pretty good half-back flank line as well. So, yeah, it's a tough decision to make, but I'm definitely not choosing to do that at all. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the coaches do. My tip: there is a strong energy in me, a positive one, that we win this well. Do I think it'll happen? But the energy in me is thinking we come out and we win well. So I'm going to tip Port by 24 points. I think, I just have that feeling. It's one of those games that we can break away, we break open. It'll be tight the whole way through, but we just break it aside. And you know, the Crows do, once they're challenged, they do fall away. They can fall away. We've seen it against Hawthorn. You know, they did come back against the Cats, but there's been countless other times where they've fallen away. So definitely, I think their strong suit is making sure that they've got the control of the game. And if we can take that away early or take that away throughout the game, Port will get the job done. But it's going to be a very, very exciting Showdown 56. Let me know in the comments, Port fans, Crows fans, and anyone that's going to be interested in the Showdown this week, who do you think is going to win? What are your thoughts about this game? It's going to be massive. Showdown's always massive. In the prison bar Guernsey as well. It's going to be absolutely epic, and I can't wait to see how it all pans out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way. The latest episode of The Glass Table is out as well, so make sure you check that out. I'll see you on Saturday night. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, ThePear.